just let the MBTA commuter rail get by us here before we begin. This site really is a warm and inviting site on most days, believe me. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to DCR's North Point Park. My name is Jack Murray, and I have the great privilege to serve as the Commissioner of the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation. On behalf of all of the hardworking men of DCR, I'd like to welcome you here to the groundbreaking of what is going to be the newest addition to DCR's portfolio of world-class parks, the Lynch Family Skatepark. I'd like to offer a special welcome to our friends from California. Where are you? Wave your hands. There you are. Welcome to New England and a good old-fashioned nor'easter. This is what they are. And I assure you that if we had been holding this event 30 days from now, we'd all be standing in 2 feet of snow. We would, yeah. But this is it's a great day. This project has been in the planning for more than 10 years, and it's a great example of a public-private, public partnership when those three entities are able to come together to create an amazing public space that will be enjoyed by so many for so many years to come. It's also a great example of what hard work and perseverance, when I say perseverance, real perseverance can achieve. Believe it or not, this will be DCR's first officially built skate park. We manage rinks, we manage pools, we manage beaches, 450,000 acres of property across the entire Commonwealth. But this is the first skate park that we will be building from the ground up. And it certainly has been a learning experience, and we're excited to be adding it to our list of managed properties. There are so many people that we'd like to recognize and thank here this morning. There are going to be subsequent speakers who are going to be doing that. But first and foremost, Renata and your team at CRC. And Carolyn Lynch, our colleagues at MassDOT, Secretary Davey, the sponsors from Vans, the City of Boston, the City of Cambridge, our state and local officials, and of course Congressman Capuano, who has helped us in the last several months as we have been meandering through the regulatory process with the Federal Highway Administration to get the final permits in place. I'd also like to take a moment just to give a quick shout out to our team at DCR, Conrad Crawford, Carl Hagelin, Laura Dietz, and Tom LaRosa, yes indeed. Angela O'Brien and Ron Killian from MassDOT, and of course Secretary Davey, who worked along with the Federal Highway Administration to get us to today. And I'd like to also thank my predecessors, Secretary Rick Sullivan and Commissioner Ed Lambert, who for 6 years from where I sit today at DCR had worked very, very hard to keep this project on pace. We are fortunate to have so many talented and generous partners to work alongside today. As I said, this is quite a unique space. I'll just give you a brief description. If you were asked to describe an urban environment where you want to plop down a skate park, you could not come up with a better, busier location to locate the facility. As you see around here, not only do we have beautiful parkland, we're abutted by an amphibious vehicle launch that launches into the Charles River. You can hear the commuter rail station right next to us. The recently completed North Bank Bridge next door, which assists with commuters coming back and forth from Cambridge to Charlestown. There's a Massachusetts Water Resources Authority pump station. There's housing development right behind us, and of course EF, Education First, who just opened and christened their new building and campus building last week, and they are working hard to activate and revitalize this site as well. So I'm thankful to be standing here alongside so many of you who worked so hard today. I am also especially thankful to be working with one of my great friends and our next speaker, Secretary May Valley Bartlett. Before taking her post here in June, served as the Undersecretary for Environmental Affairs and Director of MEPA. She's worked hard and made sure that we have done all of our due diligence in facilitating our communication, not only with the Federal Highway Administration, MassDOT, the partners, but also with our friends and stakeholders in the community. She's a great friend. I'm really pleased and excited to be working with you, Secretary May Valley Bartlett.
Thanks everyone for being here on this incredible lovely, lovely day over here. The governor is battling the traffic that I know most of us had this morning too, so when he arrives, I will introduce him. So we're going to move through the program starting without the governor. I do want to recognize some of the elected officials from the Cambridge and Boston who are here today. Jack mentioned a lot of folks, but Representative Livingstone is here. Boston City Councilor Wu. Cambridge Councilor Chung. And Cambridge Councilor Denise Simmons. So thank you all so much for being here. EEA is proud to have supported this worthy project. The Charles River Conservancy and its president, Renata von Scharner, who Jack has already mentioned, and you'll hear from Renata later, have been incredible advocates. It's not really enough to call them strong advocates, but really incredible. They've really been forceful, respectful, convincing about the need for this project in an urban center just like this. For over a decade, they've been supporting integral projects in Boston and along the Charles River, and we're here to celebrate this important benchmark today around the skate park. I do want to mention that Governor Patrick has been an incredible advocate since his arrival in office in 2007 around urban parks and bringing the communities in the urban centers to recreational opportunities and passive enjoyment. This will be a recreational active site, obviously, but many of the sites in Boston that we've been promoting are just a quiet and wonderful space for folks in urban centers to go and relax. It's so important for the environment and for the quality of life in our urban centers. I'm going to first invite up Congressman Capuano, who, as the mayor of Somerville, knows the importance of that quality of life in an urban setting. His office has been extremely helpful in seeing this project through its multi-year process. And it's my pleasure to introduce one of the Commonwealth's great partners, not just here in this community of Cambridge and neighboring Boston, but throughout the Commonwealth. Congressman Capuano.
First of all, welcome. And you guys from California, from my understanding, it's welcome home, isn't it? Yes. Welcome home. You should know this. The weather is the weather. But I guarantee you one thing, we won't have any earthquakes, so you're safe. Look, I'm here for a couple of reasons. Number one is this is a classic example of a small piece of the world that could have easily been ignored and forgotten. How many of you were ever here before today? Probably only a handful. How many of you were here when you were supposed to be here? This is one of those little corners that was, up until recently, the middle of nowhere. It was an industrial area that was forgotten. This was, for all intents and purposes, an illegal dumping ground. And it's exactly the type of place that in the urban areas is forgotten, just ignored, until an advocate steps forward. And to be perfectly honest, I'm here for one reason. And I'm about to lay on you my highest accolade for a person who is an advocate of any kind. Renata is a huge pain in the... And I say that with incredible respect because that's what it takes. Now, I'd like to think of myself and Jack and Dave and others and the governor to being, we like doing these things, but let's be honest, every single day 100 people come to us with 100 different ideas we want to do. And we can't do them all. You have to pick and choose. And this would be an easy one to move on, except for Renata and her team. I tried to ignore it. I tried to skip over it. She just wouldn't give up. And that's what changes the world. That's what moves the world forward. Commitment, dedication for something good, for something bigger than yourself. Renata, do you skateboard?
My son does, and he's here.
All right. My sons do too, but I tried to say, no, don't do that stuff, Take up knitting or something, I don't know. That's why I'm here today, is to celebrate one more step in kind of fixing some of the small little urban areas that have been forgotten for generations, to say thank you to the Commonwealth for doing that, to congratulate the other political and governmental figures who have been part of it, but also to say thank you to the community led by Renata and others for being such great advocates. I know that most of what I do is done because of people like Renata, and I will tell you that with a little bit more of that from all of us, this would be a much better world. This little location will be soon, and I know that when this is done, I know she's going to find something else to come back at me on. I know that I'll be working on it, and I look forward to doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Capilano. Is Senator Domenico? He must be, he's probably battling all of this weather as well. But we would not, we in the Commonwealth would not be able to take on any of these wonderful projects if it wasn't for strong and helpful partners in the legislature. They bring to us the ability to do this, and then we get out and do the administrative work. But without our representatives in the legislature, we simply would not be able to move forward on projects like this one. So it's now my great pleasure to introduce one of the best partners that I have ever had the pleasure of working with, and that is Representative Toomey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everybody. I'm really astounded at the crowd that is here today in this weather, but this just shows the commitment that people have to see this project come to fruition. So I'm delighted to be here. My skateboard is still in my attic, so at the ribbon cutting, I think I'll bring that down here and do a little spin. But it's really a testimony to the great effort that so many people have put into this. As we said, Renata, I met her many years ago, and she's just a tremendous advocate for whatever cause she's in, the skate park, the Charles River. I just want to thank you personally for always being there for us and your commitment. There's so many people to thank here today. The City of Cambridge, through the efforts of Renata and actually Tommy O'Neill, came to the City of Cambridge. The City of Cambridge committed $200,000 seed money many years ago for this. And I want to recognize and thank City Manager Robert Haley, our current City Manager Rich Rossi for their commitment, our Mayor David Ma, and our previous mayors. We have two City Councils, Leland Chung and Denise Simmons, that are here also here today. My great advocate and friend of the State House, Jay Livingston, who is also an abutter to this property, and I'm sure we'll be here with your skateboard too. But I also especially want to thank Peter and Caroline Lynch for their continued commitment, not only to the skate park, to so many other charitable works in the Commonwealth. Your family has just been outstanding, and I just want to recognize you, Peter and Caroline, for all that they do. And of course, the Vans for stepping up with some additional money. It's going to be, this park is just going to be a 24-hour destination. I grew up in this neighborhood. I remember it was here before. I was here up to Mischief years ago when it was old factories and just polluted land. And so to see this transformation of the state and the partnership of the public and private, EF, North Point, we've converted this area to a mixed development of recreational opportunities. We have a lot of passive recreation for the young kids, but this skate park here is going to be for creative challenges for another type of teens and young adults, so who also need recreational opportunities. So this is a win-win for everybody. I'm just so glad to be playing such a small part of this, and I want to thank everybody who's involved in doing this. So thanks again, and let's move forward.
I now want to introduce Brian Sweat. Brian is the Chief of Energy and Environment in the City of Boston. Since I have been Secretary, Brian and I have worked closely on many, many initiatives. He has been a tireless advocate for energy and environment in the city of Boston. Most importantly, not most importantly, but certainly most recently, he and I have worked diligently on the whole issue of climate preparedness, which when you see storms like this, you can understand why that is of vital importance to everyone in the Commonwealth. And Brian has been a great leader for the entire Commonwealth and the city of Boston. So please welcome Brian Sweat.
Thank you. And thank you, Secretary Bartlett and Governor Patrick when he arrives. On behalf of Mayor Walsh, thank you to all of the advocates. This is truly a phenomenal example of a public-private partnership that involves local, state, and federal support, and is a true milestone. As I was sitting here thinking about how much the Charles River has changed and the projects over the last 10 years, many of which Renata has pushed through, the Charles River and the parks on both sides, on the Cambridge side and on the Boston side, are truly experiencing a renaissance of different types of use and reactivation, and thoughtful development on both sides, and bringing people to the water, which would only be possible with now that the river is clean. And I would highlight a couple of months ago, and this was under great federal support and resources, that the Charles River received an A- in terms of water quality for the first time in its history. We want people back towards the river. And it was actually last summer, for the first legal time, that Renata pushed me off of the dock into the river to go swimming. And what a phenomenal resource that we're now providing different types of uses. I will have to purchase a skateboard to join those at the ribbon cutting. But what a phenomenal, public-private partnership. We actually showed the BRA a slightly different municipal map to get them to contribute some resources to this park. And so we are vested partners, because when we think about a regional park system, it doesn't help us if Boston only thinks about its side of the river. It doesn't help us if we draw arbitrary boundaries. That citizens and regionalization, and Mayor Walsh has been key on this, that we need to think of the Metro Boston region and of our natural assets differently. So that's one reason that I'm tremendously excited to be here today. The second reason is this project in and of itself obviously would have been a milestone, but it was also done with green attributes in mind. So Stantec and the design team thought long and hard about how to incorporate stormwater management, easy to appreciate the importance today, but on-site green stormwater management so that we keep stormwater from our CSO systems and continue to clean up the harbor and the river. Thought about reuse and recycling of building materials, a great construction management plan, and incorporating environmental assets throughout the project. So not only did this clean up a brownfield site, a dirty site against the river, but it did so with thoughtful approaches for the next generations, and is really an exemplary project from an environmental consideration perspective for park space and open space. And we know now that we need to think differently. It's not enough to build a nice park from a visual perspective or an active park. We need to build an environmentally sustainable park system as well. So for that reason as well, I'm tremendously excited to be here. Congratulate the myriad of folks who have moved this project forward, and greatly look forward to learning how to skateboard. I didn't see an EMT tent on the design, so if we could put something there for those of us who are new at this, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. I can assure you that I will not be skateboarding here. And if my children want to do it, I'll be screaming, "Wear a helmet! Wear a helmet!" Unfortunately, I did just hear from the governor's staff that he is not going to be able to make it. The traffic and road closures being so difficult, he's had to divert and go to his next event. So I'm very sorry to have to inform you of that, but I know that you can imagine what it's like on a day like today. But I did want to recognize my colleague and my good friend, Secretary Rich Davey from the Department of Transportation, who is here. He has worked. I believe that one of the untold stories of the Patrick administration is the greening of the Department of Transportation. There are so many initiatives that DOT has taken on to better the environment while they move people around that I can't even begin to do it, but I do want to recognize Secretary Davey, not only for the work that he and his team have done on this difficult land transfer and working with the federal highway on this particular project, but the work that he and his team do every single day for environmental initiatives. So, Secretary Davey. As many others have alluded to today, we are very fortunate in this project to have private industry partners. Vans Inc. was founded in Cypress, California by the father of our next speaker, Paul Van Doren. The company was founded in 1966 and is a leading branded lifestyle company for the youth market. Steve Van Doren might live in California, but he was born a little south of here in Quincy. Yay! He's been working at the company since it was founded, and at that time he was just 10 years old, but I think that is okay when you're working for your father. And he now serves as its vice president and its preeminent brand ambassador. Please welcome Steve Van Doren.
Thank you very much. The sun came out, that's why we're here talking now. And I'm sorry the governor can't make it, but one thing we haven't heard is how many skaters are here today? And I wanted to let you know that they did make it. We got Christian Assoy and Tony Alva, if you guys can come up here. Two legendary skateboarders that make it possible for all the young skaters in the world to go out and have a great time and have inspiration. These gentlemen have traveled the world with me and with Vans, and I was proud to have them come with us today. Yeah, my dad did, we're from Boston. I was born at Quincy Hospital, and my father, his brother Jim Van Doren and Gordon Lee are three gentlemen that grew up in Braintree. And in 1964, they worked, my dad worked for a shoe company called Randolph Rubber Company in the 50s and 60s. And they made shoes for, Bob Cousy back in the day, so a famous Celtic out here and stuff. My dad moved to California, and I thank him for not stopping in Arkansas or Colorado. But we went to Southern California, and he started Vans in 1966. And last year, thanks to Joan California Skateparks, we built our first outdoor skate park in Huntington Beach, which is a great project. Took three years to go through the city. When we heard about 12 years, we said we got to jump in our backyard and let skateboarding roots start here, right in Boston. I'm glad to hear it's the first project that you're taking on, Commissioner. And Renata, thank you for being involved like you were. We asked her to come out and see our opening, and hopefully, in 2015, it really is going to happen out here. And Lynch family, very nice to meet you today, but your perseverance and being involved all these years and getting ready to have this name, the Lynch Family Skate Park, is just outstanding. I was going to give the governor a pair of shoes here, so I won't do that. But Vans is dedicated to making sure that young people can come and have a great place to skateboard. It's a very safe location under the bridge here. I'm glad that people from Boston, and that's my roots, this morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock, there's a giant puddle out there. We came and we're trying to get so people could walk across there. And great people at the governor's office. The next thing I know, there's a tractor across the street. And I said, why don't we use that tractor? And they got some gravel and we made a little road here. That happened, just so you know, I know there's somebody from transportation, but we kind of bogarted on your guys this morning. They made me a road in about 15 minutes. That's what I call the Van Doren spirit because of my roots here in Boston. You just don't say no, we just got to keep going. But thank you so much, Van. I'm so proud to be involved in helping anybody that would like to skateboard have a nice, safe place. Joe's going to do a great job of building it, and Renata is going to make sure that this happens, I'm sure, to the last day. So from all of us at Vans, thank you very much, and thank you for letting us be involved.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was great. So, in addition to being the president of the Charles River Conservancy, Renata von Scharner is a trained architect who has co-written several books on public art, urban design, and environmental education, and has taught at several New England schools. Her experience and persistence has been instrumental in seeing this project through. Everyone has spoken of it. There's really no way to talk about how great Renata is, so we're just going to have Renata come up here and show us herself.
Wow, isn't that wonderful to have you all here? I'm very touched that you all came in this storm. And I think I mentioned my son. Where is he? He's out there. And when I started that project, he was not even 4 feet tall. And he came to the Boston Public Library and was there with 400 other skaters. And I think some of you, who was at the Boston Public Library? Wow, look at that. And he was molding clay, and he was showing us that we should have transition elements and bowls and streetscape. And so these concepts were born in the Boston Public Library, and he's now 24 and graduated from college. He still skates. So I'm definitely not going to give up until this park is built. And it actually started earlier. It started as a student. Oh, thank you. Wow, this is what Vans is. They make it possible. Thank you very much. So I was teaching at the Radcliffe seminars, and I assigned this space to students because this is really the perfect location. Even if it rains, it's perfect. Don't you think so? Yeah. So this has started then, and then we have Nancy Schoen here, who also had her encounters with skaters when the skaters jumped over the tortoise and hare in Copley Square. And she said, well, they just don't have another place to skate. And so we joined forces, and you have been a wonderful advocate all along, Nancy. It's wonderful to have you here today. And of course, this project would not have been possible had there not been a partner. And we appreciate that DCR was there to partner with us. And we know DCR has witnessed many cuts, constant cuts, and which has been difficult. So we worked together on and on. I think we've gone, it was 6 commissioners, 6 chief of staff, 6 everything. So it has been quite an enterprise. And we tried a lot of different things. You might remember we tried licenses, memorandum of understanding, requests for proposals, and we had many different permutations of indemnity, multi-agency land transfers, a lot of choices, more choices and more challenges than Goldilocks. But anyway, in the end, we made it happen. Thank you very much, DCR. It has been a long road, and it has been amazing. And of course, you can only get a project started like that if you have financial support. And the Lynch Foundation has been absolutely crucial early on, visionary help that you've provided. And not only did you provide the funding, but you asked others to contribute. And you also offered to make some calls when necessary, which is wonderful. And it is part of this visionary element that the whole city of Boston really benefits from all your work. Food pantries, museums, you name it. And then when I asked your wife, Carolyn, who will be here on December 11th, I hope you put that in your calendar, she said it's because you experienced how your daughters have really benefited so much from athletic activities, and how skateboarding will allow the energy to be used in a positive way. And I also was very touched by the idea that you feel this is one of the nicest parks of the Commonwealth. And very few people know about North Point Park, and many people now will come here and use it, and this will really transform this park. In terms of funding, I just learned that I'm allowed to reveal another source of funding, and we have here Mary Skilton Roberts of the Bar Foundation. When we got funding from the Bar Foundation, a very generous grant, the grants were anonymous, and I'm so glad I'm allowed to reveal that much of the money, because if you added it up, it didn't all quite add up, is thanks to the Bar Foundation. And please give our thanks to the Hofstadters for their enormous support. Thank you so much. We all know cash is important, and we will probably need a little bit more to get lighting here. and the environmental issues have taken a lot of cash. But we received a gift that is as important as cash, and that is pro bono legal services. Those legal services were provided by Wilmer Hale, and in particular to Bob Fitzpatrick. There he is. 2007, Bob has been working with us. I want to express my really heartfelt thanks to Bob. He has calm wisdom, deft hand, and he helped us navigate the stormy waters of long and often very difficult negotiations. If I ever have a really thorny real estate or environmental challenge, I certainly know where I get help and patient guidance. Thank you so much. Well, we already mentioned elected officials. They have been absolutely crucial, various agencies, and we love working also with Mass DOT on other things, the underpasses, the bridge lighting. We will miss you so much. Yes, that's right. As Maeve said, I'll be back on a few issues. I hope the skate park will not take all my time from now on. But somebody who will be continuing the fight with me along my side is my husband, Peter Munkenbeck. I want to thank him for his caring and his help. For 15 years, he has been helping me to think about the Conservancy and the skate park. On many evenings and weekends, we talked about who to enlist, how to convince them, how to get permits, how to raise funds. He often lent his loyal wisdom and expertise in civic matters that he is well familiar with. And you helped me to what you call the aura of inevitability in order to get the skate park built. And here it is. So then there, of course, is the Conservancy Board. You can imagine carrying a project for 15 years, a capital project that is 10 times as big as your annual budget was quite a challenge. And I would like all the board members and advisory board members of the Charles River Conservancy to raise their hands. We have quite a few in the room. With our wonderful stand deck team, our people from Valley Crest here, who the general contractor, and California Skate Park. We really have a wonderful team, and I don't think Mike McIntyre has been recognized, the designer. It was really McIntyre who brought us together with stand deck and with Vans, and brought all these elements together. So we are very fortunate to have that all happen today. So I know soon the coffee will be arrived, so but before you get your cup of coffee, I want to leave you with one more thought. This world-class skate park needs to be seen in a context. Together, the Conservancy and all its partners, we are remaking the urban Charles River. We continue the bold, transformative process that began over 100 years ago with Charles Elliott's vision, the damming of the Charles and the creation of this unique 10-mile linear park. The realization of Elliott's dream, he called it the democratic common ground, is one step closer with this skate park. With our work together with DCR, the City of Boston, and Cambridge, and many other groups, we are transforming the entire experience from the Boston Harbor to the Watertown Dam. Swimming, bridge illumination, landscaping, eating places, improving pathways, building underpasses, and offering free family programs and celebrations are all part of that vision to create more active, attractive, and accessible parklands for all. Thank you all for helping with this skate park, and I hope you will be part of making the entire Charles River Parklands world class. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Renata. As always, that was absolutely beautiful, and that ends the program today. And I actually think the sun is coming out, or maybe it's just not quite as gray as it was before. So, sun! I